Sister conversation, praise the Lord. I hope God is keeping you well. Personally, God is keeping me so well. I am not complaining. I think, not that I think, the season I am in, I am not complaining, I am not asking, I am not questioning, I am not grumbling. I am not regretting anything. I am simply aligning with what David says in Psalm 131, verse 1. Reading New Living Translation version, he says, Lord, my heart is not proud. My eyes are not haughty. I don't concern myself with matters too great or too awesome for me to grasp up. I'm, in a nutshell, that is my season. And I'm deeply grateful to God. I can't take it for granted. So, we continue with our conversation about Sheerah. On the last day of last month, March 2026, I promised that we shall dive deeper in understanding who Sheerah is and why Sheerah, of all the iconic women the Bible puts in record, why choose Sheerah, whom the Bible talks about in only a single verse. And why only in a single verse. So today we shall again get to know more about Sheerah, and then in the preceding days we shall look at how we can emulate Sheerah and the courage she had, so that we are able to accomplish what the Lord has put upon our lives, what the Lord is calling us to do, especially as women. Irrespective of the odds, it's irrespective of the limitations, irrespective of the hindrances, can we still accomplish the purpose the Lord has called us for? So, reading First Chronicles chapter 7, verse 24, that's the only verse that talks about Sheerah. But we are going to read from 23 then to 25. And Ephraim to his wife, and she conceived and bore a son, and he called his name Beriah, because disaster had befallen his house. His daughter was Sheerah, who built both Lower and Upper Beth-horon and Uzen Sheerah. Rapha was his son, Resheph his son, Telah his son, Tahan his son. So Sheerah was a daughter of Beriah. Beriah was a son born to Ephraim, and Ephraim was born to Joseph. When Joseph went to Egypt, he married an Egyptian woman, and definitely he's a son of Abraham. Yes, so Ephraim had sons, and then these sons were killed by the Amalekites. Yeah. They had gone to steal in Gath, G-A-T-H. Were killed when they had gone to raid cattle that belonged to the men of Gath, and that affected him so much. Yeah, you see. So they were killed there, and they all died at once. So Ephraim was left with no one to carry his name on, no one to comfort him, and it was really a tough moment for him. For lack of a better word, I don't know, but let me say he went into depression, and only relatives had to show up to comfort him. He gained courage, strength, and went back and met with a wife. And she conceived and bore him a son, whom he named Beriah. Beriah means calamity, it means disaster. Not because Beriah himself was calamity or disaster or a problem, but because he was born after a season of turmoil, a season of calamity, a season of disaster, a season of loss, a season of hopelessness. Actually, he was born at, I don't know how best I can put it. But Ephraim just went into his wife, and yeah, and just like that, Beriah came and he just gave him the name. You are calamity. Yes, but Beriah had a daughter and he named her Sheerah. So verse 24 is the one that talks about Sheerah. Verse 24, 1 Chronicles 7, it says, his daughter was Sheerah, who built both lower and upper Beth Horon and Uzen Sheerah. Sheerah, I told you when I give birth to a baby girl, first thing to do is to name her Sheerah. Because I love the audacity she had to name the third city her own name, Uzen Sheerah. Uzen means listen, so Uzen Sheerah simply means listen to Sheerah. Ooh, what a confidence boost. She must have been a very confident woman. So she comes up, she's born in a lineage that has no hope for the future. There was nothing inspiring about her dad and the grandfather, but when she came up unapologetically. We don't see anywhere mentioned that she had advisors. We don't see elders coming in. We don't see where her husband is mentioned. We don't see where her sons are mentioned, or even the hand of the father, even the grandfather. But her achievements. I love Sheerah. You can do it, ma'am. We don't see any record where Sheerah had first seek permission. And so I'm here to tell you that if not all the times, sometimes you don't need permission, especially when you are convicted enough that the Lord is calling you to launch deeper. You don't need a permission. Simply show up and do it anyway. And when you do it with all your might. Yes, when you do it, dive in. Sometimes you don't need, not actually sometimes, all the times, you do not need to understand what entails in the vision, what the future will be like for that. Because in the first place, when Sheerah was building these 3 cities, she didn't know that someday a man called Joshua may use it to leave a mark about Israel, in the history of Israel. Okay, Joshua chapter 10 verse 10 to 12 says, reading from New International Version, that the Lord threw them into confusion before Israel. So Joshua and the Israelites defeated them completely at Gibeon. Israel pursued them along the road, going up to Beth Horon, and cut them down all the way to Azekah and Makeda. So now listen to verse 11. I think this is where the point is. As they fled before Israel on the road down from Beth Horon to Azekah, the Lord hurled large hailstones down on them, and more of them died from the hail than were killed by the swords of the Israelites. The city Sheerah built and her authority. She was born in a time when women weren't given space. Where women weren't given space. We are in an era where we are given space. So, we would be doing better It's possible, and it's not too late. It's not too late, my sister. We can do it. She was born in a season, in an era, in a generation where women weren't given space. She created her own space, but even up to date, it is talked about. Because 2 Chronicles chapter 8 verse 5, when King Solomon was looking for the cities to fortify, he realized that actually he has nothing to change about the 3 cities. He had nothing to change about these 3 cities Sheerah had built. All he did was to build the perimeter walls around them. So that means when she set her mind to build the cities, she gave them the right foundation. That even after 450 years, they were still on point. What are you building? And how are you building it? How's the foundation like? Do not forget to put Christ in the foundation. Okay? The rejected stone. Do not. I want you to be encouraged that whatever God has put upon your life, He has also spared grace for you to start on it and accomplish it. Okay? I want you to be encouraged that the hindrances you're seeing right now, they are simply lying to you that you can't make it, but actually you can. Woman, you can. We can, you and I. Let us be encouraged by Sheerah, who stood out of the crowd and did something phenomenal, something uncommon, something unusual that left a mark in the history of Israel. I want to believe that God created you for a purpose, okay? We all know that each one of us was created for a purpose. But you know how heavy it has been on your heart as a woman, and you know the questions that have been going through your mind, and you know how many times you've desired to step forward and start on whatever you are meant to start on, but somehow you still want to look like normal. Honey, pick up yourself and start on it. The grace is available. The grace is sufficient. The Lord will carry you through. He will connect you to the right people. He will give you the right energy, the right direction, the right counsel, the right guidance. He will uphold your hand. If you endure, if you persist, I want to believe that God created you for a purpose, okay? We all know that each one of us was created for a purpose. But you know how heavy it has been on your heart as a woman, and you know the questions that have been going through your mind, and you know how many times you've desired to step forward and start on whatever you are meant to start on, but somehow you still want to look like normal. Honey, pick up yourself and start on it. The grace is available. The grace is sufficient. The Lord will carry you through. He will connect you to the right people. He will give you the right energy, the right direction, the right counsel, the right guidance. He will uphold your hand. If you endure, if you persist, if you hold on and stay on track, you will look back after everything and be proud of yourself. Don't let anything or anyone put you down. Don't. As long as you already have the clarity and you understand your identity, start on whatever assignment the Lord has given you, mom.